right. My name's Carol, and my local MP is Jeremy Corbyn.
My name's Neil, and my local MP is Jeremy Corbyn.
My name's Irene Francis, and my local MP is Jeremy Corbyn.
My name's Helen, and my local MP is Jeremy Corbyn.
My name is Terry Papa, and my local MP is Jeremy Corbyn.
Okay. And you all met him together this afternoon, and was he very receptive to what you were saying?
He was very receptive. He gave us an hour of his time, and I have to say we met him last year as well for the same purpose, and he gave us even more time because he was not delayed on that occasion. And he's very receptive, he's very perceptive, and he asks a lot of questions of us as well as us telling him what we want, and which is, I think, extremely good.
Yeah. And do you feel he took something away from the meeting?
He took lots of notes.
Yeah.
And he has agreed that he would approach particularly William Hague and the people involved in the Foreign Office, particularly about the questions we asked him.
Okay. And did you do the two asks with him?
Yes.
And what were the results from that?
Well, he was pretty sure he'd already signed the EDM, but he was going to check. And the first ask he was tackling William Hague, which he said he would do, and send any replies he got to Tibet Society and Free Tibet.
Yeah. And sort of general question, why you got involved today, and sort of the things you got behind
well,
it.
both Neil and I have been supporters of Free Tibet for many years, at least 20 years.
Probably.
Yeah, since the early 1990s, and we are very active in Free Tibet.
And for you, too?
Well, I've been coming along to these programs. I think particularly when it was the big one.
In 2009.
2009. But I mean, since the trials, I have been assiduously putting a proper border around Tibet. So that's been terrific.
Well, I work for the Tibet Relief Fund, so been hearing about the mass lobbying of this for the last however many months, and wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, I'm a Tibetan and born in Nepal, and it was very interesting to come with our Western supporter, a British supporter, to meet NB face to face, because we can both share the Western side as well as the Tibetan experience. And as Neil and Carol said, Jeremy Corbyn was very generous with his time last year and again this year, and he's very well informed about Tibet and very receptive, and he did ask us a question. And if we didn't know much about Tibet ourselves, that was very scary. But thank God, between us we managed to give him lots of information. And in addition to the ask, as someone who was born and brought up in Nepal and having worked with British professionals for rural education training in Nepal, we managed to keep him up to date with the situation on the ground in Nepal, because the Chinese pressure on the Nepalese authorities and Tibetan refugees there are sort of literally suffocated in between. They are neither regarded as Nepalese, though they were born in Nepal, but they're not regarded as Nepalese, no Tibetan as such, no part of China. There is nothing in limbo. So we really put forward the situation to Jeremy, and I think he took lots of interest, and he is going to write to the concerned departments and let us know about the situation. We particularly raised because the British government gives lots of aid or money to the Nepalese to Nepal because of one of the 27 top priority countries conflict zone, and we asked him to also look into the situation of Tibetan refugees in Nepal, because they have budget for humanitarian purposes, and if Tibetans are sort of considered in that process, for example, there are lots of Nepalese human rights organizations in Nepal, and they do sort of watch out on the Tibetan side, Tibetan situation, and then they sort of put pressure on the Nepalese authorities, and it does sort of make difference. And they're also sort of engaged in propagating or spreading this real current situation with Tibetan Nepalese amongst the Nepalese population, and that is really important because at the moment Chinese is sort of pumping their money and buying Nepalese authorities, and that is very scary because the general population, they don't know about all these things, and there's lots of corruption among the top Nepalese officials. So hopefully, with more pressure put on the Nepalese authorities, and they will take not only Tibetan refugees but other Bhutanese refugees, for example. So if generally they take more sort of closer eye on and sort of making appropriate representations with concerned authorities, I think that would bring a sort of positive difference to all people.